constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LANZESS.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter
because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Best hour every day now officially underway. It's a football Thursday. It's a baseball Thursday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's Sunday right side. It's Kevin Walsh ready to get after it. The topics. Oh, my goodness. 4 baseball games yesterday. Only one team got eliminated. It was mine. Going home are the Philadelphia Phillies after not being able to get any base hits whatsoever against the New York Mets. You also see the real MVP of the New York Yankees is Giancarlo Stanton. It's not Aaron Judge. You have crazy bullpen sessions from the Dodgers and the Tigers, and away we go. And a Thursday night football game between two NFC West opponents, the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers, and the fallout from Aaron Rodgers making sure everybody goes down with the ship but him, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I was live here Tuesday, Donnie, and kind of went wild over the whole thing. You know, I again, kind of my MO. I know the Jets and embarrassing moments have gone hand in hand for quite some time. But there's no reason for a guy to come in and run the franchise the way Rodgers does. Like DRS, you know this, right? I'm an NBA guy through and through. And in the NBA, a star comes in and controls the world sometimes, right? We've seen it, and not just, and everybody mind runs to LeBron, Giannis in Milwaukee, Durant wherever he is, right? Like, it's a thing. The thing, though, is, Donnie, typically, even in the NBA, you have to earn that with your new franchise. Aaron Rodgers has actively done nothing other than disappoint the New York Jets faithful. To have the control to the degree that he has. Again, more control than Josh Allen in Buffalo or Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. I mean, it's a ridiculous look.
No, it is. And also, Rich Cimini just tweeted out a few moments ago here, to recap the scenario, quote, Hackett keeps his title as OC, but he's stripped of his play calling, but remains on staff in an undisclosed role. So he's basically there because he's Aaron Rodgers' friend now. He doesn't even work for the Jets. He's just being paid to be his best friend. And then it says Downing, who's the passing game coordinator, will call the plays and prepare the game plan. So if Downing was the passing game coordinator, he's been awful because all Aaron Rodgers does is can't find anybody open and airmails and throws interceptions. And then Albrecht will continue to coordinate the defense and call the plays, hopes to be more involved in the offense as time goes by. Now you're looking for the defensive coordinator to then go over and say, I would like to call plays as well. Sounds great, Jets. Sounds great.
Yeah, again, that I saw, some folks not being like, see? This isn't a Rodgers thing, but, man, you are hook, line, and sinker, huh? Falling for this spin here. I think it's one of these things, Donnie, where if you look at it now, the Jets season is going to be one that falls short of expectations. Now, some will shift the expectations, right? Like if they get in as the 7th seed, which could possibly happen, right? If they do, you're like, Rodgers broke the streak, got rid of Salah, perfect timing, but that's not the expectation. Donnie, are the Jets dealing with massive injuries, right? when we go through our injury reports, are there huge key guys missing for the New York Jets? Because as far as my eyes can tell, no, they're not.
Nope.
Well, guess what? The divisional favorite is playing an in-division game on a Monday night against an opponent who is very injured and is playing their third straight road game, and the Jets are home dogs. That's how bad they've looked through 5 weeks. That's how bad they've looked.
Here's what I like, too, about that game coming up, because either way, it's a great story. Jets win. Hey, look at that. Maybe it was right. Maybe it was the head coach. Maybe they need some changes, and now Aaron Rodgers feels comfortable in a franchise he handpicked everybody to be around him. Or if they lose, then all of the darts start to hit Aaron Rodgers, and he just can't get out of the way. So it is going to be great theater to watch this one play out on Monday night. But I thought it was good to start with the New York Jets and where they go from here. And sometimes, we're not in the building, but we can sort of surmise of what you've done in the past and how things have gone for Aaron Rodgers. You know what I would have liked even better, Kevin? If it came out Monday, it's like, I called Woody Johnson. I said, you know what? You want to save this season, we got to make changes. I don't think we have the right head coach. I thought we did. And also, Nathaniel Hackett, he's my best friend. He's just not doing the job. He's got to be replaced as well. And you come out on the Pat McAfee show, and you come out in public and go, I know it sounds bad, I was the guy that made the phone call because I think we have a team that can win, and I do think this is the best direction of the football team. You would have had people say, Aaron Rodgers, I can't believe it. You're such a punk. Why would you do that? And most of the people go like, you know what? I actually respect that a little bit. Get in front of the story. Say, I've been playing good football, but I don't think we're getting the best coaching. I'm not going anywhere. We know this. The coach had to go. I would like that a lot more than to start off and say, and I always know when people have those thoughts, because we weren't there. But when you say, well, I'm only going to talk about this for 1 minute, and this is all I'll say is I didn't have anything to do with it. That means you don't want to explain yourself any further and get a lot more questioning about what's actually going on within the Jets. Just own it here. It was clear. You come off the field, you and Robert Saleh can't even embrace in a hug, but you'll tell us, great relationship. Like if me and Kevin were in public, it's like, oh, I'm going to try to go over and dap up Kevin. Yo, Kev, come over. Let's grab something to eat. Yeah, I'm not eating with you. Get out of here. He's just a funny guy. He's just, no. Perception is reality sometimes.
Again, and I know that there's you're trying to weave your way into the first time we met one another, and I didn't know it was you, and I gave you the cold dap. I'd love to eat dinner with Donnie, but it's impossible. He doesn't eat dinner. Nevertheless, I know maybe this is a little kind of in the weeds, but Aaron Rodgers going on McAfee used to be a really big deal. People used to get excited about it. People used to tweet out, wow, look at the numbers it's doing. Aaron Rodgers went on Pat McAfee 24 hours after their head coach was fired.
Yeah.
Donnie, did anybody care? I mean, really? No. Did anybody tune in? Did anybody bother? Because you knew it was going to be a whole bunch of nothing. You did. And look, some of that is on that show, but I'm not sure I blame him all that much, right? You're trying to keep the relationship going. You know he's going to give you nothing. You know that's what he's going to do, right? Because that's what Rodgers is. Rodgers screams conspiracy and moves on to the next subject. So it's just one of those things. It is incredible how just off-putting, right? All of that has become where that yesterday, Donna, should have been appointment viewing, right? We should have been, me, you, and Lisa should have been in studio live reacting to that interview. There's nothing. It's patently false. All right, man. Did RFK help you write the speech before you went on Pat? Cut it out.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right about that too, because the next day that you're going on McAfee and you want to go on there and you're not going to dip out of it. Remember Devontae Adams, hey, I'm going to go on Kay Adams in the morning. Oh, can't do that. Maybe something's going down in the trade market, because he would have went on Kay Adams and Kay would have just been like, so Devontae, you're not happy to be a Raider. Where do you want to go? And he's like, it's going to happen. I just can't answer it yet. Wait till I'm on my new team. I'll come back, and so be it. So Aaron Rodgers like, yeah, of course. I love to hear myself talk. I'll go on Pat McAfee, which I do each and every week. And then the first thing I say is, I'm only talking 30 seconds basically on we just fired our head coach and we're in a complete turmoil and we are in the bullseye of the NFL. But outside that, what would you guys like to hear about? No, we want to hear about how it's going down. Do you like your new head coach? Did you okay that? And the best part about this whole thing is, if we're being smart and you're Woody Johnson and you're Aaron Rodgers, how did you let it slip out that you talked to Aaron Rodgers talking about Woody Johnson and before the firing never would have mentioned it? Only an insane, crazy person would have done that. Hey, Kevin, let's get ready for show prep for the show, knowing that I'm going to make a phone call to ownership that's going to get you fired before we actually take the air, but I'm going to play it off as if we're cool and we have a great relationship, and you don't appear 10 minutes later.
again, even the better comparison, be like, hey, listen, I got to talk to Donnie about some of the changes heading into tonight's show, and be like, you get there, be like, what do you mean, Lisi's not on the show? You didn't mention he wasn't on the show tonight. Yep. Be like, I didn't think it was any importance.
Moneyline, more changes than Kevin's wall color in the background here. Get into it, people. A lot of fun. More hot topics coming up right here on Moneyline.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in. Life is good. SportsGrid makes it better. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Hurricane Milton plowed into Florida as a Category 3 storm, pounding cities with winds over 100 miles per hour after producing a barrage of tornadoes.
With the SportsGrid News Flash, I'm Trey Westerberg.
The storm tracked to the south in the final hours and made landfall Wednesday night in Siesta Key near Sarasota, about 70 miles south of Tampa. The situation in the Tampa area was still a major emergency as St. Petersburg recorded over 16 inches of rain, prompting the National Weather Service to warn of flash flooding there as well as other parts of western and central Florida.
CVS Health announced its plan to lay off 2,900 employees, a move that comes about a year after the pharmacy chain laid off 5,000 workers. Michael DeAngelis, Executive Director of Corporate Communications, says that the latest round of layoffs will be primarily corporate roles. The layoffs are part of the company's effort to reduce $2 billion in costs. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Extravagant, luxurious, lavish. The $7 Lux Cravings Box from Taco Bell satisfies all your crunchiest, cheesiest, sauciest cravings. Indulge in a beefy 5-layer burrito, chicken chalupa supreme, Doritos Locos Taco, and chips and a drink for an unluxurious price. It's Lux for less. Get yours today at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer.
You know what that means?
It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Of course, we like to talk a lot about the Jets because certainly they are a big story and they got a big game, but that's not till Monday night. We got a football game tonight we'll get to, but also Major League Baseball roaring. And I got to tell you, we have the NHL, Kevin. The reason I bring it up, because it seems like in the NHL, it's like best record doesn't matter. Just get into the tournament, see what happens, get a hot goalie, get a guy that plays out of his mind. You can knock anybody off. In Major League Baseball, we're really at that point now. And that's not me saying, well, I'm a Phillies fan. I'm a much more tame Philadelphia. Look, I saw a World Series in my life. I'm fine. I saw a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Give me a Flyers Cup, and we'll see what the Sixers can do, and I'll be just fine. So it's like, oh, man, you angry this morning at the Mets? Like, it honestly went to bed fine, woke up fine. It's not really that big of a deal. Would I've loved to see the Philadelphia Phillies advance? Of course. But they're a flawed team. I don't think they would have won the World Series the way they are playing. But it's crazy in baseball, and this is why, Kevin, the broader topic. We'll get to the games itself. But Rob Manfred tries to make a lot of changes to say we got to get with the program and what makes sense in the 21st century. Loved every move he made. The pitch clock, absolutely outstanding. Like A.J. Przinsky yesterday doing the Phillies game. I wish we didn't have the pitch clock because it'd be a lot more. Yeah, we would have been hanging around till 1:30 a.m. to try to get that game over with the Philadelphia Phillies. The pitch clock is a godsend. The DH is a godsend here. Bigger bags to have people steal more bases. It's a godsend here. There's a lot of things they do well. But you remember the one that was going to start to take on an issue where he goes, you know what? We're going to explore that if you have a starting pitcher, like he better be going 5, he better be going 100 pitches unless injury, because that's the way the game is supposed to be played. Now we're seeing just the wildness, Kevin. Like the Tigers are going to try to win a World Series with one starting pitcher and just throw 7 or 8 guys out there and hope it holds down. The Dodgers, went on the road last night, Kevin, in an elimination game with the highest payroll in baseball we've ever seen, and they go, we don't even have a starting pitcher that we can even throw. And they won 8-0, which is outrageous. So the changing of the guard here in baseball. Now, is it, Kevin? Give me good starting pitchers in the regular season because that's what wins. Starting pitchers don't mean a goddamn thing in the playoffs?
Well, no, so Donnie, they're supposed to though, right? Because like Tariq Skubals mattered. I know Cole had the one start, but like the Yankees feel good about Wheeler was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant, Donnie. So I think it's how many elite starting pitchers are there in Major League Baseball, right? Like I know that it could be bad radio if we do that on the fly, so we'll ballpark it. There's no more than 12. And so then how many of them made the playoffs? How many of them stayed healthy? Like the Dodgers, here's the thing about the Dodgers. To some degree, I wonder if the format would have gotten in the way of it. Who knows? Don, if that team stayed healthy, they might have not lost a single playoff game. Glass now, Kershaw, Freddie Freeman is like not even playing. Like the amount of money that they have tied up in injuries, and they are still sat here going back to their building now, supposed to win this series against the Padres. We know they'll be favored over the New York Mets, and they'll be favored over the New York Yankees or Detroit Tigers. If they get to the World Series, they will be. And that is, again, with all these injuries, which is, it's just remarkable. But again, to your first question, Donnie, how many teams have multiple elite starting pitchers? Like, is Aaron Nola, Donnie, in that threshold for you?
I mean, not after
just
his last
below
performance.
it.
Yeah, like
but I'm saying
goal
just
for the
below
Phillies
it, probably.
was supposed to be who is your 1-2 punch with a decent third starter, because then you try to make your way around game number 4 before you get back to game number 5 with your ace. That's usually a 7-game series the way it plays out. Now, like we're turning it into, I'm going to start guy in game number 1. TBD on 2, 3, 4 until we get back to 5, and I know I have my ace starter on the mound. It's crazy because this was never a thing back in the day. And now it seems like you are going to get teams, Kevin, in the World Series, throw a starting game, or maybe even, depending on how they get there, Kevin, a bullpen start in game number 1 of the World Series. It's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it is. No, you're 100% right, Donnie. Like, again, but I just think it's because the second pitcher, the third pitcher, those guys, they don't feel as trusted, right? Like the Yankees' second arm is Carlos Rodon. And you're like, I don't know about that, right?
Behind again, with Carlos Rodon, like the second, it's like, hey, you know what? He's a 1-year, $3 million guy. Like, no, he's paid to be an absolute ace. And it's like, we can't even throw you in the playoffs.
Well, he flopped, right? I get what you're saying, but he flopped ultimately, right? Like he's had 2 months of good baseball in a Yankee uniform, or maybe not good baseball, but a level of play that suggests he's anywhere near worth the amount that they paid him. But again, I heard you talking about the Phillies. I don't even know where it was. Was it on yesterday's show? I don't even know. Or I think it was just during the break with the Mets. Yeah. They don't even have an ace on that on the rotation. Like Severino isn't some like top 5 Cy Young candidate this year. I know Peterson was awesome when he returned from injury, but still, like, that's what we're going to. Right. Peterson, like. It just kind of gives you an idea,
like the what it used to be and what you think about heading into there. Syndergaard, like, oh my goodness, you can't beat that staff. Yeah. And now it's down to, hey, you know what? We'll just get a competent pitcher to start. We'll see how long he goes. And the Mets bullpen isn't even that good. It's just a matter of if your lineup is willing to get that big hit. The Phillies weren't willing to get that big hit last night. Francisco Lindor, he was willing to get the big hit. They win 4-1. That was it. The 4 runs they scored was on one swing of the bat from one player. Didn't score the rest of the night.
I mean, how about game number 3? The Padres scored in one inning.
Yes.
They scored and they won a game 6-5.
Yep.
Right? The fact that Dylan Cease has lost both starts.
Yeah, good.
I think that of all the things, Donnie, that might be the most confusing to me. Like, and maybe it's like, it's just because the Dodgers lineup is really good. But if you would have told me that the Padres are going to lose both Cease starts, how could this series still be going? Yeah. Is almost my thought process here.
But again, like the Dodgers, the biggest payroll we've ever seen. And it wasn't like, hey, Kevin, game series, we're up 3-1. Let's go bullpen start. We'll flip that rotation. We'll see if we can win this game. But if not, no big deal. Their season was going to end. Their manager was going to get fired. There would have been a mutiny in Los Angeles with that talent on the roster, how they couldn't have worked things out to at least make a World Series. They threw a bullpen start against a red-hot team and shut them out in their own building. Like, when you talk about trying to handicap these Major League Baseball games, it is quite crazy. Now, there's 2 more games tonight. The Yankees close out, and I do think they close Kansas City out tonight, 7.5. And then, like, Bybee and Olsen, like, okay, well, what's that line? 9.5? That's 6.5 tonight. Like, the bats just go ice cold the minute we hit to October. Just the way it is. It's playoff baseball. You get used to it. You got to get hot at the right time. Some of these teams are doing that. We'll talk about the Thursday football game and much more along with a ton of hot topics next right here on Moneyline.
Coming. Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1994, the New York Giants retire Lawrence Taylor's number 56.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
LT revolutionized the linebacker position in pro football.
Big hit was made by Taylor,
as he recorded 132 and a half career sacks and was league MVP in '86, leading the Giants to the Super Bowl. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
If you've ever brewed your own beer, you may have discovered that bad brewer's yeast, through a process called hyperattenuation, can massively boost the beer's alcohol content, change its flavor, or, in a worst-case scenario, make your beer explode.
Cheers!
New research by the American Society of Microbiology found that adding small amounts of one of 8 different kinds of killer toxins to your beer prevents bad taste, extra alcohol content, and explosions. But if not done carefully, might lead to other problems. Follow me at Chicapalbo on X and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
What they really need is to keep Rodgers upright and let him go to work. You know what he reminds me of, Parcells? You're the cook. Can I pick the food? This guy's the chef. Can he cook the dinner? Let this guy cook. Listen, Robert Saleh, he never won. They never win. That's all that matters. You don't win, you get fired in the NFL.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network. Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Big football weekend this weekend starts tonight, which we'll get to the game. Seattle and San Francisco, which also tees us up, Kevin, for this weekend's action. It's just odd, like a big game in the SEC. It's Oklahoma and Texas. Like, wait a second. What time machine am I in? Big game in the Big Ten. Ooh, man, Oregon State goes out to Oregon. Like, wait, what? Doesn't even make sense or compute. But we're going to have those football games and those conversations. So it is a great week. But tonight starts it off. I think we got a good game. 49.5 on a Thursday night game. That tells you we should get some fireworks. Just to let you know, on the early line today, we asked to fade the public poll, Kevin. By a wide margin, the under came in, not the over from the public. The line also shifted there towards the 49ers at 3.5 more than the Seattle Seahawks at 3.5. So that's where the public went. But I'm looking for an interesting game because I know we like to lean on the 49ers. Like, yep, dominant football team. That's what they do. But your record is what it is. They're under 500 and lost to a decent football team last week, but you're up double digits at home in the set. You can't lose that game. And they lost that game. And then an even more maybe embarrassing performance was from the Seahawks at home, who had the Giants, who, you want to talk about the ultimate letdown. Hey, look, the Giants aren't good. What if I told you their starting running back and their only offensive weapon in Malik Nabers is not going to play? I mean, what would he beat this team? 24-3 like we beat the Dolphins? This should be embarrassing. And the Giants went up and down the field and were the better football team over Seattle. So both of these teams should have each one of their attention spans tonight. But I do still think we get some fire. The number at 49.5 makes sense. We might get a lot of yards. How do we see it play out, Kevin? Red zone turnover, missed field goal, punt the football from the 44-yard line on 4th and 2 as opposed to go for it can really shift the paradigm of a game. But I think the backfields on both sides, Kenneth Walker, I think he has a very good game. Jordan Mason, I think he has a very good game. The wide receivers should be open tonight. I don't think these defenses, which include the 49ers, are as good as advertised. And also, injured as advertised is a bigger deal.
Yeah, it does feel like the running backs are going to jump off the page for me, because I'm also, you know this, Donnie, I love a good bounce back spot. Jordan Mason, under 90 yards, no touchdown, the fumble. And then if you think that's a bounce back, well, Ken Walker, no touchdown, 19 yards in the game. So you're talking about Ken Walker needing to probably get 10 to 15 carries, just like kind of no matter what happens, because they know they got to get that kid the football. So I'm definitely going to be looking in the running backs' directions here. But if you are going to get over this 49.5, you're going to need these quarterbacks to play, good aggressive football. This can't be the running backs combined for 50 carries, and you're going to get home on a 49.5. So that is, I think, what makes that total really interesting. I'm surprised because I don't feel as if it's often where one of the higher totals is a public under. That feels like a rarity to me. So that kind of sends the antennas up a little bit.
It does. Now, also, the thing that scares me sometimes, because usually, the wide receiver, the passing game is always involved right up until Kevin, maybe 5.5 minutes ago if you have a 2-touchdown lead. But you can see those second half carries really disappear if your team is down by double digits. But I do think you take a look at Zach Charbonnet and Ken Walker in the passing game, like just doing some simple numbers. Like, well, how have they been doing in the past couple weeks? Like Charbonnet, he's got a 13.5 at FanDuel. That's his receiving yards. 29, 31, 16, 39, and 19 in the first 5 games. He's covered that number in every single game. So you would figure if you say, Donnie, who do you think is going to win the game? It's the Niners. Oh, okay. Then yes, the running game will still be there if you think it's going to be a close game, but maybe in that fourth quarter or in the second half, you start to get more of those receiving yards. Also, Ken Walker's had games, 36 yards and 57 yards from the reception side. But I do think you're right. Mason, for me, you see and the numbers are so high. It's 80 yards that he's supposed to get. Like I say, 82.5. I do think he gets there because there's nobody else outside of Deebo Samuel's is maybe 3 carries tonight that are really going to change. Backup running back or end. I mean, they're not going to get the football. He's going to get that ball. And I also think once they get in the red zone, they were so scattershot last week. The first half of the game, which I loved for what I needed, an over 1.5 touchdown pass for Purdy. They threw unlimited times in the first half. He only got 1 touchdown. It's like, this is probably going to bite me. Then in the final minutes of the game where they're trying to seal it, you give the ball to Jordan Mason, the game should be over. He fumbles the football. So they were really unprofessional, to say the least, in the red zone last week. I think that changes, and I do think the running game will be a big part of that. Minus 180 is a price. It's steep on Mason, but come on now. He scores tonight.
Well, the only thing I was going to ask is how expensive is the Niners rushing touchdown prop? Or is it 1.5 rushing?
It's probably going to be a 1.5. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to find that in a second. But yeah, I like where you're going on that spot of it because you're going to get nothing would be worse than 113 yards from Jordan Mason, but Deebo gets the red zone carry that you needed to score the touchdown. I'll get that and bring it up here, but we'll continue our talk on the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks to sort of set the table for tonight's game, which I do think we have some juice on both sides. And Seahawks win, man. We are going to really start to question the 49ers even making the playoffs. Yeah, you guessed it. We'll be right back. Moneyline right here on a Thursday.
Time to coil up that garden hose.
Fall is here, and SportsGrid has you covered with strategies and info on football, baseball, and everything else. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Swinging a drive towards the gap in right center. It's pretty deep. It's back near the wall. It's gone. It's gone. Francisco Lindor. He may have just outdone himself.
The call on Mets Radio 4-1, the win over the Phillies on Wednesday. New York advancing to the National League Championship Series. They took the series 3-1. Francisco Lindor with the grand slam. They'll face the winner of Friday's Padres-Dodgers Game 5. LA extended the series with an 8-0 win yesterday. Elsewhere, the Tigers shut out the Guardians 3-0 to go up 2-1 in that series. Game 4 is tonight in Detroit. Game 4 in Kansas City between the Royals and the Yankees. New York up 2-1. After last night's 3-2 win, Giancarlo Stanton with a homer in the 8th to put the Yankees ahead. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Shop Macy's VIP sale going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends from designers that rarely go on sale. And save 15% off skincare, makeup, fragrances, and more. Plus, shop fall specials for even more great deals on top brands at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Right before your very eyes.
The boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Obviously, Kevin, haven't played great football, right? We can agree on that. But Seattle, if you just want to look at some skewed statistics that we were bringing up even before that Detroit game, you played the Broncos at home, game number 1, rookie quarterback in a tough environment, never seen him play before. You're supposed to beat him, and they did. The Patriots on the road, I don't care where it's at. The Patriots are a horrendous football team. You're supposed to beat them, and your defensive numbers will be skewed because of that. Then you take on the Dolphins, who if it's Tua Tagovailoa, then you might go back to the medium because that's a good offensive team. They're probably going to throw for 300 yards, rush for 90 yards, and really put one on you and get you in a race. Skylar Thompson goes up there. They couldn't even snap the football. So it's 3-0. Ooh, look how good Seattle's defense is. Ooh, look how good Seattle is. All right, well, let's go on the road and play a good team. Up and not even an incompleted pass from a quarterback. That's how bad Seattle's defense was. Last week, the Giants come to town. Malik Neighbors or no Malik Neighbors. That's a bad offensive football team. They did whatever they wanted, and Darius Slayton turned into Malik Neighbors, which then gets the laugh where I know where I'm supposed to tell you that Malik Neighbors can no longer win Rookie of the Year because Slayton came in and dominated a football game, so therefore they don't need Malik Neighbors. But I look at that and say, I'm going to take the card that Seattle's not a very good defense, and the 49ers is a very good defense. They should be able to do whatever they want, as long as Kyle Shanahan stays aggressive and doesn't kick field goals inside the 5-yard line on 4th and 1, which he loves to do.
So I'm trying to figure out the Seattle defense just like you, and they're very injured right now. Now, they are injured going into tonight's game, so that's what matters, right? Like, oh, fully healthy, this is a good defense. Well, they're not fully healthy tonight. But preseason, Donnie, my expectations is that this could be a good defense because I believe in Mike McDonald, and they have some solid corners. They really needed an additional pass rusher, like somewhere on that roster. And it was kind of one of those things like, ooh, this defense should be very good the following season, right? Yeah. More so than this year. But I think when you look at it, and basically to your point, you have the 3-week sample size of looking like the best pass defense in football. And then the last 2-week sample size where, oh my gosh, we can do anything to this defense. And you ask me, what does tonight look like if it's one of those two outcomes? The trend continues because they are very injured. And this is a 49ers offense that we know what they can do when they hit their ceiling. Here's the reality on the Niners. They had this window where I was like, man, they are so injured. Like, how are they going to survive any of this, right?
Yeah.
Kittle, Debo, Trent Williams is banged up. You look at it, Donnie, they're fully healthy outside of Christian McCaffrey. And I'm not trying to downplay CMC, but it looked like this team was going to be like, I thought that Kittle and Debo and these guys were going to be out for a while. They're not. They're there. So the Niners offense really should be able to pick up steam here. And I think it gets very interesting to see, though, because you have Seattle, and this is where that total would make sense. Seattle is also in a really dangerous spot. I mean, another loss here, Don, and now you're 3-3.
Yeah.
Leg one of the head-to-head against the Niners goes their direction, and you just lost the home game, which is never good. So I lean Niners, but I don't love the Niners on that line. Like, I don't think I lean Niners under the Donnie Wright side perspective of
Gotcha.
they're better. I think they're going to win, so they probably should cover. But I don't love this Niners number and think it should be 5 or 6. No.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because I can almost see because we're trying to sometimes differentiate this Niners team versus what we've seen the past 2 years. Come on now, the 49ers, they're supposed to be 4-1. They're supposed to be 7-1, 7-2, and it's if they lose this game, they're 2 games under 500 and now are 2 games out of first place in their own division. You start to question if they can even make the playoffs, which is how big this game is. Just going around some some bets on FanDuel. Looks like we're trying to work ourselves back into some things which we've seen in the past, Kevin. Under the game specials passing tab, it's a lot of stuff here. The normal 500 yards passing, minus 125 between the 2 quarterbacks. You can bet each quarterback to have 100 passing yards in each half. They even have it down to the quarter now. But here's now where I started scrolling down and got excited, but they sort of cut it off. Brock, let me see what we got here. 700 yards, 23-1. Goodness, looking for a big day. Brock Purdy to record a touchdown pass in each quarter is one of those bets. Why can't I almost saw that and said, let me just scroll down further because I know the 1-1, 1 in each half was maybe my favorite bet. Well, I'll tell you, 3 years ago, FanDuel had the single most fun betting options on every big primetime game in Sunday. If I can go back, because I remember I was spending some time at my house before we actually moved in, right after around Christmas time. And I remember the final weeks, I had so much money invested, not even straight wagers, just on the FanDuel game day specials, because they were so unbelievably fun to try to cheer on. The 3 players to score 3 touchdowns or more, quarterback throwing a touchdown in each half. Oh my God, they were so good. I don't know why they did away with them. I guess because they weren't profitable, I would want to say, or maybe people had edges. But I know, they're props. Because then you would say, we're not even going to offer any props anywhere at that point.
I'm telling you, nobody bet those more than us. And again, it's a weird brag, but at least for me, those things were beating me around.
Yes.
We kept getting left short on a crazy thing. So that it can't, I'll tell you, Donnie, again, you talk old school. They used to have the 200 total yards and 2 or 3 total touchdowns for the start running backs combined. That is what I need for tonight's game.
Yeah.
Because it's all right, Mason and Walker should both get going here. And it's there's nothing with those guys for touchdowns. So it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating because that they have the ability to throw those all back up, but they don't.
Just don't get the same. Tonight would be one of those nights that would really be a fun one, a high total, 2 veteran quarterbacks, wide outs out the wazoo for both sides, running backs that can dominate. You could really have fun if it goes the right way tonight.
What did they stop doing no sweats through a lot of these books out of nowhere or something? Because
I think Talk about it. Go ahead.
I did everyone get hip to the best way to take your no sweats is throw in a futures market and things like that? Because something's not adding up here. Where I felt first 3 weeks of the season there was no sweats every primetime game, and now I don't remember the last time I had a no sweat.
Now answer me this too, Kevin, because I'm not in the room, but I want to think I am. I think I heard this conversation in my sleep somehow where they slipped it by me on the sports. Are they conspiring against us on touchdown anytime props? They're conspiring against us, aren't they? Jordan Mason is a minus 180 tonight. We didn't see Christian McCaffrey's minus 180 until he had a 7 or 8 game streak of touchdowns. And it's ooh, you know what? 200, that might be really pricey. We can't even go that high. I texted you yesterday, Derrick Henry, who I do think scores a touchdown probably every week. He's priced as if he's playing college football at Alabama going up against Georgia State, where on the first drive of the game, if he gets one handoff, he'll probably go 75 yards and then go to the bench, but he has his touchdown. How did we get to the point where it used to be, and again, home run props as well, Kevin? A good home run, Aaron Judge hit a home run. I was hey, it's plus 350 today. That's interesting. It got all the way down to minus 190 this year. And it's they're allowed to do that because we'll pay that price and bet and still lose. But it feels like every year the vice grip from the books is tightening on the prop bets we love because they know we'll still bet them. Jordan Mason shouldn't be minus 1. I'm sorry. Minus 180 should be the highest mark of the weekend for the easiest spot for a player to score a touchdown. But he's not even half the price of Derrick Henry, which is insanity.
Well, again, but it thinks you're telling me that CMC tonight would be minus 300 to
Yes,
score? Like,
correct.
that's just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it has
Where's
to be
the no?
shorter. You would.
Where's the no at, Kev?
Right.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Where's the no? You want to put somebody to 360 or 320? Where's the no? Let's play ball now.
Mason hasn't scored in 2 of the 5 games. Like, if you were betting Mason anytime touchdown, it's 3-2. You're probably losing out on juice right now.
Like, it used to be profitable. Like you got a prize out here. Now you got to use an odds boost or a profit boost just to tack onto a touchdown to make it even more palatable. What happens, sports folks? Throw some out there, people. Give us some good odds to get after it. Donnie, it's Kevin on a Thursday. We got much more coming up next.
Yeah, it's getting cooler.
Football weather is here.
Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Thursday Night Football tonight in Seattle. The 3-2 Seahawks play host to the 2-3 49ers. San Francisco looking for their first win away from home. They're 0-2 on the road this season. The Seahawks are 2-1 at Lumen Field. It's a big divisional battle between the teams. Seattle on top of the NFC West. The 49ers are tied with the Cardinals with the 1-4 Rams on the chase. Seattle will be without at least 3 key defenders tonight. Pro Bowl cornerback Rick Woolen is out. So is outside linebacker Kenner Nwosu and defensive tackle Byron Murphy II. Another defensive starter, Pro Bowl safety Julian Love, is listed as questionable. On the Niners injury report, Jordan Elliott, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowle, Talanoa Hufanga, and Jake Moody all listed as out. Chris Conley and Shavarius Ward listed as questionable for tonight. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
When the weather cools off,
Major League Baseball playoffs heat up.
Sit tight.
The World Series is coming. Keep it here for every bit of the action with strategies and information
To give you the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Boom, boom, boom. The NHL back in our lives too. Kevin, your Rangers had an impressive win
Oh my
last
gosh.
night. Still waiting for my Philadelphia Flyers. What do you got? What do you got?
Now listen, I don't no the I'm glad you brought up the hockey.
Yeah.
So I took 2. Now I'll give you the full story. So I don't know if they're my Rangers, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
So I took a Bedard Donnie over his season-long points.
Okay.
And I took like an alt assist thing, right?
Yeah.
Opening night, 2 assists.
Yes.
Couldn't work any better. Then I took the Rangers goalie, Igor Shesterkin, right? To have 4 shutouts, but I had the boost on it, so I got it to like plus money. So I just, $50, right? We're on for Igor there. Yeah. Opening night shutout, right? I also took him for 6+ at like plus 470, right?
Yes.
So the 2 opening nights on, he couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
Here's the only downside. I also have a bet on the Islanders goalie for 6+ shutouts because his name could not be any closer to Igor's name, and his price was 1 tick above. So I accidentally done it, and I've almost never done this.
Yes.
I accidentally bet the Islanders goalie for 6+ shutouts before I bet the Rangers goalie. And I was like, well, I'm not going to not bet the Rangers goalie. So now I have both New York goalies for 6+ shutouts, even though I only wanted 1.
Oh, my goodness. Just goalie shutouts on the season as it plays out. By the way, Shesterkin wants record-breaking money out here. Ranger fans not too pleased right now with Igor Shesterkin. Did you see that?
Yeah, but you know what? I used it to my advantage.
Mil. Now
I'm like,
he's going to be angry and play even better. Yeah. Could be.
But it is odd. Like, I don't know, within hockey, like him being offered the most money ever.
Yes.
I mean, like, no.
Yeah.
Need more. It's like, oh boy. All right. I didn't know that. I didn't even know hockey players could do that.
Yep. Tough look right now. Tough look for the Rangers. Look like they can't afford the guy. Maybe got to move on from him at midseason, send him out to a team that can afford him. But it's the reason I brought up hockey too is because I saw we're like 20 some odd days now away from college basketball. I'm not ready for college basketball. I've told many people college basketball should not start until after football ends. And if you want to have only 1 month regular season of college base basketball, then we can do that and just get right to the tournament, which is the best part. I'm not ready for college basketball. There's no way.
I'll look forward to it being back. Basically, it doesn't start until football ends for you anyway, because you usually keep it how it is. I need a full investigation launched into why the FanDuel Sportsbook's Wooden Award market does not have Cooper Flag in it. I need a full investigation into why. In fact, I probably need to start doing some.
What's his age?
I don't know. Is that what it is?
17. Bet365 will let you, because Ryan Williams does not come up on FanDuel, Kevin. He comes up on 365. He's a minor.
And he comes up on DraftKings as well. And I noticed that Ryan Williams wasn't I noticed that Ryan Williams wasn't available on FanDuel. Is that really what it is, Don?
Let's see. Let me see. Cooper Flag age. Let's see. Cooper Flag age. He's 17. That's why. Yeah.
Okay, so immediately incredible job by you cracking the code.
December 21st, we'll be able to bet on the guy.
Is that what's going to happen though? Like they're going to post.
He's going to parachute in. Yeah, he's going to parachute in.
But now tell me, I mean, again, I don't know how you would have the answer to this, but maybe you would. Why would FanDuel, Donnie, not be able to post a 17-year-old? Meanwhile, DraftKings has a yes/no market for Cooper
I don't
Flag.
know. Maybe it's just their stance on it or what their bylaws were when they started making their agreements to go into states. We're not going to do this because you know how I figured that out? The week before, I bet Ryan Williams get 25 yards against Georgia in one of my parlays. The one that we were cheering on to try to win that final leg, 200 yards for Beck. And I bet that. And somebody sends back, goes, oh, it must be nice to be able to bet Williams. I'm like, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. So the next week, I was trying to make up a parlay, and I went on there. I was like, Ryan Williams is so good that there's not actually an option to take him for any props against Vanderbilt. Like, we can't even price this guy out, so we won't have it. Didn't think twice about it until then later. I was like, wait a second. He's on other books again. So that's when I figured out, like, he's a minor, he's younger, and I put two and two together from somebody that texted me, like, or tweeted me, was like, hey, it must be nice to bet the guy. I'm like, maybe you're just not missing him. And then when I tried to find the Van, I was like, he's not even up on Van. He's that good. Like, you're saying, like, Cooper Flag is that good. They don't even want to hang a number because he's going to win it automatically, and they don't want to lose money. No, he's 17 years old.
So, but then can we agree then, Donnie? FanDuel should not be allowed to hang Wooden Award odds if they can't present the favorite to you until December. Yes. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
You know what they do a lot of times, though? Like, you can't bet St. Peter's in New Jersey. If St. Peter's were to win the championship, I think it, like, either voided the bet or it's like the next team in line, or something odd like that. Like, why wouldn't they do that then?
The runner-up wins.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, probably because, like you said, whenever his birthday. When's his birthday? December what?
December 21, right before Christmas.
Okay. So on December 21st or 2nd, like then, Donnie, all of the – like they can't wait, though? Like they can't wait until Christmas to drop their Wooden Award market?
Yeah, I guess it's just the way they've always done.
They're just getting getting, worse bets, right?
Yeah.
That's
everybody's just going to wait
man.
for him to drop in. What does he drop it? Like, let's just say he's playing well too. Just drops in at a minus money price right off the bat in December without even like starting league play
yet.
At
that point, yeah, no, it's possible because Donnie, he's the favorite on the books that can price him.
Yeah,
like that's again.
I mean, the kid's from Maine. How good can he be? He's from Maine. Stop. How good can he be?
Yeah, but see, now you just stressed me out about something. Rutgers this season, Donnie, right?
Yes.
It's kind of starting to flirt with the, getting ranked and things like that. I hope Greg Schiano never fully turns that program around. Please, if Rutgers makes the playoff, that is going to be one of the worst things that's ever happened. And I'm sorry.
And do you know how to make that change? Because, again, most of the times, let's just say senators, state senators, assemblymen, they don't live in the real world. They have no idea how the betting market operates. They're basing stuff on a fixed game in 1954, and they can't ever have that happen again, which would never happen again. But once you start saying our deficit is big, we would love this, and then somebody raises their hand and goes, I know a way that Rutgers can make an extra $750,000 tax-free money a year to help pay for a coach's contract if you just allow people to bet Rutgers basketball games and football games, which will have no bearing on the outcome and bring millions of dollars into the state. They will change it. But the fact, again, is so analytically out. And again, you're right about it. We usually don't have great teams in New Jersey. Wait till Rutgers basketball makes a run to the semifinals or Final Four, and we can't bet them. Oh, boy. Terrible. We'll be right back at it. We'll be back. It's Moneyline.
The boys of summer become the champions of fall.
The World Series is on its way.
And SportsGrid brings you every angle. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi. Then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Sports Rage tonight.
No. You've got to be kidding me. This is insane. Derek Carr's an idiot. You was just your boy 5 seconds ago. You idiot. You suck, Carr. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. What the hell is he doing? Just threw it up like a punt. He touched him. He touched him, Ralphie. Just play like, what the hell are they doing? God, Carr's an idiot.
It's Sports Rage tonight with Gabe Morency. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
No way football is played in the fall and winter.
Because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
We got baseball tonight, people. We got 2 baseball games. Looking at the Detroit Tigers with the ability to move on, and also the New York Yankees with the ability to move on. The Yanks are a decided favorite tonight. FanDuel's got them at 154, DraftKings at 155. Same thing with BetMGM at 155. So hefty price on call, but Waka actually has some pretty good numbers. I do think the Yankees close that out, Kevin. I think that stays under the 8. Cleveland and Detroit. Bobby Olsen. Olsen's had some decent numbers. Bybee is okay, but the way I played that game is first 2 guys in the lineup, Parker Meadows and Kerry Carpenter, 2 left-handed batters, absolutely unbelievable numbers against right-handed pitching. Bybee's been phenomenal against righties, struggles against lefties. Those 2 guys should be in either a parlay, either a RBI shot, and if you want to throw in Riley Green, that also makes sense as a left-handed batter. That's the way I'll play these 2 games tonight. But as a fan, Kev, 8:08 tonight. You're going to be watching Cole, side-eyeing it tonight? 2 TVs?
Yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll give FanDuel all the credit for, at least over DK, Donnie, is so the hit-run RBI markets are way too expensive on FanDuel, but you can parlay them. Now, I know you can over on 365 and almost any other book. But DraftKings, you can't parlay them. So that's kind of a nice thing there. And I wonder if that's probably more a regular season thing, DRS. See, you would not actually – you've been able to parlay those all season from guys on the same team over on 365?
Yeah, with the ones. I like to do it, yeah.
But isn't there have to be like a level of, or is it too correlated? And the books know, because I would imagine like Will Smith last night hits a home run that knocks in Max Muncy, and all of a sudden it's like boom, there's 2+ hit run RBI. Like for everybody, is kind of getting paid. Like is there, or are they very clearly correlated when you look at them?
They are. They're not great prices, which is why I usually only do them like in the parlay when I get the 50% boost to try to make it up, make it make sense. But I did one yesterday, Kevin, which was not a boost. I said, I like this too much. It was Vientos, 1 or more hits, runs, or RBI, and with Iglesias. It was like $65 to win 50. I didn't want to go a lot, but I love this. I don't even want to add a third player because I have a winner. But just to let you know, like Vientos leads off with his double right away. I'm like, oh, good, this should be able to cash. And then in the next inning, I think it was bases loaded, 1 out, and Iglesias got up, strikes out, which he owns Ranger Suarez, which is great. I'm like, oh, man, all right, well, if you put the ball in play, I would have won. Then he gets up late in the game with Pete Alonso on third base and nobody out and strikes out again, walks at that point. So last night I was punched in the head. Like you can't have two better scenarios. Imagine if I would have had for the RBI, it would have been absolutely money. I'm like, oh man, puts the ball in play twice. Like all you can do is handicap it where you say, I think this guy's going to be in a good position tonight. And he was, and it didn't work out. But I think I might jump in, but my edge is really gone. Like last night burned me, Kevin. I loved the 3-leg parlay I had last night. It was Jackson Merrill, Jurickson Profar, and over 2.5 runs for the Padres with the juice. It was $100 paid back $250. But it was based on the starting pitcher for the Dodgers, who was supposed to be the starting pitcher, who didn't even appear till the 9th inning and pitched 1 inning. So then I was like, you know what? It's so wild with these bullpens. You can't handicap just about anything. Like you could probably handicap tonight the Royals, right? Okay, how are they going to do against Cole? Because Cole's not playing 3 innings unless he gives up 8 runs before he gets knocked out. But now you're looking at, even if that pitcher is doing well and it's 2 runners on in the 3rd inning, he's gone. And then you'd have no idea about what your handicaps were supposed to be. So playoff baseball is wild. But last night was that fusion point where I got robbed sort of in the Mets game. But the late game, one guy got a base hit, one guy didn't. But the handicap was, I want to go up against this guy. And he appears in the 9th inning in a blowout and pitches 1 inning. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't take this. You're telling me the starting pitcher doesn't come into the 9th? Stop.
That's not how you bet Major League Baseball. No. You don't go, this guy's been hot, I'll take him. Yeah. It's across the board. Yeah. I will say I got lucky because last night I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because they got the boosts out there, Donnie, and I had one in game 3 of Padres-Dodgers, which worked out. It was Tatis, Merrill, and Ohtani, 1+ hit run RBI. Luckily, I left Louis Arise out, who ended up doing nothing. But I said to myself, I was like, do I place one? No. And usually then when you don't place one, you'll always convince yourself you would have won.
Correct.
I'm like, commit right now. What would you have bet? And I would have thrown Aaron Judge in there. And I would have lost. And look, I think that the Yankees winning while Judge continues to be bad is a good sign of things to come.
Mm-hmm.
But if this continues, man, that is going to be a very, very, very big black mark on a player who has largely avoided those things throughout his time in baseball.
Now, hear me out on this, Kev. Game number 5 for the Yankees, which means they lost tonight. Yankees down 2-0, 6th inning, second at bat for Judge, strikes out a second time at Yankee Stadium. What's it sound like in that building?
Yeah, apparently soft fan bases would cheer him and lift him up. Yeah, beat it.
Boo! Oh, boy. The boys will be in studio tonight. Make sure you join us there for Kevin Walsh, Donnie Right Side. Everybody out here. Look, we're getting after it tonight, people. We're out of here. See ya.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler.
Football and the World Series are coming in.
Life is good.
SportsGrid makes it better.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.